Plaintiff William Anderson claims the defendant rented a car from him, then made excuses for not paying, including being abducted by aliens. He's suing for $4,317. Defendant Dustin Olds claims the plaintiff comped his rental fees and he didn't damage the car. He says he owes nothing.
Nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
I do.
Thank you. All rise. The Honorable Judge Jerry Springer now presiding. It's case number 227 on the docket, Anderson versus Olds.
And welcome to both of you. We have the plaintiff here, Mr. Anderson, and you are suing the defendant, Mr. Olds, for $4,317 for unpaid car rental fees plus car detail and damages. Yes, sir.
First of all, I operate a business that leases out automobiles to people who want to drive for Uber, Lyft, Amazon, any of the meal delivery services.
So you lease out these cars?
I do, on a daily rental or lease. So in May of this year, a young fellow who's been a very good driver for me contacted me and said, hey, I have a friend in the area who just got laid off from his job and he's looking to join up and start doing deliveries. Do you have a car he can use? I said, all right, well, I have a car in the lot. You guys can come down and pick it up. I'm out of town right now. The other driver knows the drill. He knew where to find the keys. So they came down and got the car, and I told the defendant that I would give him a couple of days, not free, but I would set the rent back for a few days so that he could get some runway underneath him.
And how much was the rent?
The rent was $45 a day.
Do you have a copy of the lease?
I do not. It's all verbal and by text message mostly.
Do you have a copy of the text messages?
I certainly do.
I'll take it, sir.
Okay, thanks. You understood it was $45 a day?
$45 a day. It was supposed to be plus $4 for insurance.
Got it. Okay, so it was $45 a day. Now what happened?
Almost immediately, when it became time for him to make his first rental payment, he started with a string of excuses.
You mean why he couldn't make it?
At first, he said his debit card didn't sync up with the app and he couldn't download his payments. And that kind of stuff happens with people who are unfamiliar with the driving platforms. And the next series of excuses were he had to loan money to bail out his mom and dad. And then the next excuse was his grandfather had offered to loan him some money to catch up his past due rent. And then his grandfather didn't come through, but...
Okay, and I see in your statement here, I just want to read this part. Dustin, till this day, has not made a payment. He had my car for 2.5 weeks. I would reach out to Dustin to make payments, and he would come up with every excuse in the book. That's what you're now talking about. The craziest being that he was being kidnapped by aliens.
I'm sorry?
Why? What? Now, why did they give you back? No.
This is the first time.
No, what I'm saying is, I'm not... No, I'm saying, if an alien comes, you know, 1 billion miles, finds a human, and then the next day you're given back, they went billions of miles, they weren't very impressed. No, you're saying you didn't say that.
Of course not.
Well,
sir.
you're just kind of making...
What he told me was...
I understand he's giving you excuses, you're saying, but he didn't really tell you, I'm sorry, the last 2 days I was kidnapped by aliens.
His excuse for not driving one night was that he saw some mysterious lights in the sky, which he believed might be aliens. And he didn't feel safe driving.
It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, Your Honor.
All right. How long did he have the car?
2 weeks.
And he's made no payments for the 2 weeks?
He's made no payments.
Okay, now I will hear your story.
Okay. Your Honor, I met him. I never met him in person. I talked to him on the phone through a mutual friend.
Yeah.
I go over there. We get everything done with DoorDash. My father's got early onset Alzheimer's, and my mother's not doing well either. I had just gotten laid off, so I needed to make some money.
Sure.
Went over there with my friend to some parking lot. There was no inspection of any kind or anything like that. I thought that was a little strange. I got in the car. I left. It was making noises and
Could have been the aliens.
Right, obviously.
No, go ahead.
No, I had talked to him over the phone. He had said he would comp me for the first 2 weeks.
You're saying that when you called to complain about the car wasn't operating well or making noises or whatever, you're saying that he told you...
Right.
Was this on a text or verbally on a phone?
This is on the phone.
I just need evidence that he said you don't have to pay.
I don't have physical evidence, sir.
Why didn't you bring the car back? And why would you think that you're allowed to keep a car rental and not pay for it while you kept it? You would have had reason to bring it back and say, I'm not paying for this, give me your car, and then I'll pay for that one.
Right.
But you kept it for 2.5 weeks?
He didn't tell me to bring back the car.
No, I'm just saying you're
Right.
a smart guy, right?
Yeah, right.
If the car isn't working, why would you run up a bill knowing that at some point you've got to pay? He's not going to let you just keep a car for nothing.
Right.
It's a business.
You know, so I didn't want to complain. I didn't want to drive. It was a long drive.
Did he call you to complain about the car?
No, he never did.
You never heard from him that there was something wrong with the car?
Absolutely not. In fact, if you'd
Okay.
like, here are the text streams where I'm requesting that he start making his rental payments, and you can see the series
Okay.
of excuses. Also, Your Honor, the cars all have GPS devices built into them.
Yes.
And in a second here, I'm going to show you where in the unsafe car that the defendant claims he was given, he took the car for a joyride approximately 100 miles from home, 200 miles round trip,
No, that's a lie.
And-
I took it 100 miles.
and hit a maximum speed of 87 miles an hour. That would definitely be a reckless driving ticket in the state of Washington.
Okay, you are giving all kinds of excuses. I'm not saying they're not legitimate things that were happening in your life, but you're not saying, can I have a different car? This one isn't working. And here's the trip. Yeah, that's a nice trip. Okay. Here's the point. In terms of this case, I don't care where you went with the car. What's before this court is the very simple business proposition that you rented a car for whatever reason you wanted to rent it. The deal was $45 a day, and you kept the car without paying for it. If you couldn't afford it because of all these very real problems in your life, not the alien one, but the others, okay, real problems with your family, and I'm sorry about that, then you return the car. I can't afford it.
Right.
So I don't have any choice here. So the suit's for two things. The damages caused to the vehicle, I need evidence that he was the one that caused it. You're going to show me evidence, I assume, of damage to the car.
Correct.
But unless, particularly since you're in the rental business, before you let that car off the lot, or your employee who let it off because you weren't there, they got to know, wait a second, this is a business. It could be a lot of money. Cars are expensive. You make sure, which every one of us has to go through when we rent a car, this is what is on the car already, and you sign off on it. You didn't do that. So unless you have evidence that he caused the damage during the time period that he had the car, I can't make him pay for it. You didn't do that. The rental fees, which I'm going to say you owe him those rental fees. You kept the car. So I fined for the plaintiff in the sum of $739. Hey YouTube, check out my new show, Judge Jerry. Now for sneak preview and behind the scenes footage, subscribe to my channel now.